Hey Daisy, what are we going to learn in this episode?
Hey Alex, this episode is going to be more interesting.
Cool. May I know that how?
We are going to cover many things like listening, speaking, new words, and some grammar discussion if needed.
Amazing. Why listening is important for learning English?
For learning any language in the world, listening comes first. Imagine, when you were a child, how did you start learning your mother language? I am pretty sure that your answer is listening. You can't imagine listening to how much it can help you to improve your English.
Okay. Why should we learn new words?
Good question. Why should you learn vocabulary? Vocabulary is important because it's the basis of all languages. It allows us to communicate more effectively and precisely. A rich vocabulary enables us to express ourselves clearly and with nuance, which is essential in both written and spoken communication. Don't forget to note down all new words, so that letter you can practice anytime.
End of the video. We're going to practice speaking, right?
Yes, English shadowing practice. Hello, friends. If you find the video 1% helpful, please give a like to this video. We promise you that you will learn something new from this episode that could help to enhance your English.
Even when faced with the legendary Sword of Heroes, the warrior didn't flinch, because he was that much of a master.
Hey Daisy, we got a new word. Flinch.
Flinch. Flinch means to quickly move back or away because you are scared or in pain. Synonym: back, away. Even when the warrior saw the famous, powerful sword, he didn't show any fear or move back because he was very skilled and brave.
Hey Daisy, can you please give one example?
Sure, she didn't flinch when the doctor gave her an injection.
In European elections on June 9, they came out the clear winners. And that night, the night of those results, Macron did something that, from the outside, seems completely baffling.
Hey Daisy, we got a new word. Baffling.
Baffling. Baffling means something that is confusing or difficult to understand. In this sentence, it suggests that Macron did something on that particular night that appears very confusing or hard to comprehend when viewed from an outsider's perspective. Example: the sudden change in weather was baffling to everyone.
He believed that if he frankly scared voters into thinking about the seriousness of the far right running France, they would simply change their mind in a mere 3 weeks, which many people said was folly, but that's what he believed.
Hey Daisy, we got some new words. Frankly.
Frankly. Frankly means to honestly or openly speak or act without hiding anything. So, example, it means he believed that by openly and honestly making voters scared about the seriousness of the far right running France, they would think about it seriously. Example, frankly, I don't think we can afford to buy a new car right now.
Last Sunday, in the first round of those elections, the results of that bet started coming in. They were a disaster for Macron and for millions of French Muslims, people of colour, anyone at risk of being seen as not French enough, one step closer to a frightening new era.
Hey Daisy, we got some new words. Disaster.
Disaster. Disaster is something very bad that happens suddenly and causes a lot of damage or harm. For example, a big storm that destroys houses is a disaster.
But in the sentence, what did they mean? They were a disaster for Macron and for millions of French Muslims.
In this context, disaster means a very bad result or outcome. It doesn't mean an actual storm or natural event, but rather a situation where things went very badly for Macron and the groups mentioned.
Okay, can you please tell me an example?
Sure. Missing my flight was a disaster because I couldn't attend the important meeting.
We have another new word. Frightening.
Frightening. Frightening means something that makes you feel scared or afraid. So, in the sentence, one step closer to a frightening new era, it means getting closer to a new time that makes people feel scared.
Era. What does it mean?
In the sentence, era means a period of time in history. So, a frightening new era means a new period of time that is scary. Hello, my friends. Now we're going to learn some English phrases that native speakers use all the time.
Hanging out. What does it mean?
It means spending time relaxing or socializing with friends or others. We're hanging out at the park this afternoon.
Get around.
Get around is a phrasal verb that means to move from place to place. Example: in this city, it's impossible to get around without a car.
She uses a bike to get around the city. Or it's easy to get around town using public transportation.
Correct. Move to the next.
Get away.
Get away is a phrasal verb that means to escape or to go somewhere for a break or vacation. Example: the thief managed to get away before the police arrived. Or, we're planning to get away to the beach this weekend. Or, I need to get away from work for a few days to relax.
Get by.
Get by is a phrasal verb that means to manage or survive, especially with difficulty.
Example: even though he doesn't earn much, he manages to get by. Or, she's finding it hard to get by on her small pension.
When Shakira lost her job, the family got by with only their savings. Or during the tough times, they had to get by with very little food.
Get into.
Get into is a phrasal verb that can mean to become involved in something, to start enjoying something, or to enter a place.
Example: she got into yoga last year and now practices every day. Or, how did you get into the building without a key?
I don't want to get into our finances now. We'll talk after our guests leave. Or, I'm starting to get into this new TV show. We have completed the listening practice and have also learned some new words and grammar concepts. Now, let's move on to the speaking practice, as we mentioned at the beginning of the video, for the English shadowing practice. Before we start, please guys, let me know if you found the video helpful or not. Your comment is important for us to understand this. Hi, I am looking for this address. Hi, I am looking for this address. Can you please direct me? Can you please direct me? I greatly appreciate you spending time with me. I greatly appreciate you spending time with me. But I have to leave now. But I have to leave now. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time? How about you join me for some tea in the garden? How about you join me for some tea in the garden? But I really can't stay here for long. But I really can't stay here for long. How lonely I've been feeling except you. How lonely I've been feeling except you. Hey, I was wondering if you could help me with this problem. Hey, I was wondering if you could help me with this problem.
Let's talk about adverbs today. Ready?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, what do adverbs do?
They describe verbs right.
Correct, but that's not all. What else?
Maybe adjectives.
Good, and also other adverbs. Can you give me an example?
She runs fast.
Fast works, but technically, it's an adjective there. Try again with an illy word.
Okay, she runs quickly.
Perfect. Now, what does quickly tell us?
How she runs.
Exactly, let's try another. He spoke awfully. What's the adverb?
Softly.
Correct, what does it describe?
How he spoke.
Great, now something harder. She almost finished the race. Spot the adverb.
Almost.
Yes, and what's it modifying?
A finished.
Right, and what does it mean here?
It shows she didn't completely finish.
Exactly, adverbs can show degree, not just how.
Got it? That's tricky.
It is, but you're doing well. Let's try one more example.
All right, let's build on this. Look at this sentence. He drives very carefully. How many adverbs do you see?
Carefully is one and very.
Exactly now. What's very modifying?
Carefully.
Correct, so very is an adverb modifying another adverb. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's a bit confusing.
That's okay, let's break it down. Carefully tells us how he drives. What does very add?
It makes it stronger, like he's super careful.
Exactly now, let's try this one. She almost always arrives on time. How many adverbs here?
Almost and always.
Yes, and what's almost modifying?
Always, I think.
Right again, so? What does the sentence mean?
It means she's on time most of the time, but not every time.
Exactly. See how adverbs can tweak the meaning subtly.
Yeah, they're like little details that change the whole sentence.
Exactly now. Here's a tricky one. He hardly works during the weekend. What's the adverb?
Hardly.
Good, and what does it mean?
It means he doesn't work much on weekends.
Exactly, hardly makes the meaning almost negative, even though it's not a negative word.
That's so weird. English is tricky.
It is, but you're getting it. Let's try one more. She sings so beautifully that everyone stops to listen. What's the adverb here?
Beautifully is one, and so.
Perfect. Now, what does so add to the sentence?
It makes beautifully stronger, like really beautiful.
Exactly, you're catching on fast.
Thanks, this is actually kind of fun.
Good to hear. The more you practice, the easier it gets.
Does this work for your video script? Let me know if you'd like any changes.
I see, so even small effort counts as long as I don't quit.